Love it all. Hey guys, Logan here, and welcome back to another video. So recently I read the book Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli and saw the movie companion called Love, Simon. FYI that I tried to avoid spoilers as much as possible, but spoilers may or may not have appeared in this video. Watch at your own risk, and I also apologize for unwanted background noise. Now, I'm gonna make a book and movie discussion of this novel and movie. So let's begin with the book synopsis. Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda is about a teenager named Simon Spear, and he is an in-the-closet gay kid who forms a anonymous online romantic relationship with a fellow gay kid at his school, although they do not know each other personally and they keep their names anonymous. Now, after Simon leaves his computer on in the school's public library, his emails get revealed and someone threatens him to release the emails. So the movie and novel are about his journey to come to terms with his sexuality and coming out and being okay with who he really is and saying basically fuck it to society standards. I give this novel and the movie as well 5 out of 5 stars. The book itself is just so fantastic. It's a great read that I think anyone should read. Now the movie itself I really enjoyed as well, but there were some key points in the movie that I noticed that weren't included from the book. Now the first one was, in the novel, Simon and his anonymous email writer go on a date to, once they reveal themselves, go on a date to a grocery store and eat Oreos and in the rain, and they kiss, and it's just a really cute scene, and they didn't include that part in the movie, and that really made me sad. Another part of the book that they didn't include, which didn't really bother me as much, Simon and his anonymous counterpart, once they meet for the first time, head back to his house and have a makeout session. Now that wasn't included in the movie, which I think it would have been kind of important to include it, just to show how much they meant to each other. Now, another part of the movie that I didn't like was the fact that when Simon and his anonymous counterpart reveal himself, the whole town knows. The whole town is revealing himself, is there for when the anonymous counterpart reveals himself, and it's not as meaningful in my opinion because everyone knows and everyone cheers, and it's not really meant to be like that in my opinion. In the book, Simon meets Blue, but Blue and him just have a private moment. Another thing in the book that's really important is Blue gives him a t-shirt, and that's what leads him to meeting him. And in the book, that t-shirt wasn't included at all. And another part also is that when his anonymous counterpart comes out, it's a longer process than what it seems to be like. He doesn't come out to his father right away, and he learns his father is expecting a child with his new wife, and that's a big part that delays his coming out at first as well. It's just not as significant. So I do give the movie 5 out of 5 stars, and the book 5 out of 5 stars as well. The book itself, as I said before, was just fantastic. Becky Albertalli is actually a psychologist, so she really knows, I don't want to say the teenage brain, but I guess the teenage brain in the easiest of terms. Another thing I did like about the movie is, in the movie, the drama teacher, Mrs. Albright, she is a badass mofo, and it's great. She's a badass mofo in the book, but it just reaffirms it with one scene where she tells homophobic students to basically shut the fuck up. It's just really fantastic, and I love it a lot. Love it a lot. Another thing in the movie that I also did enjoy, because I felt like it meant more, was that Simon in the book didn't really necessarily hate Martin, the guy that threatened to release his emails. He just didn't like him. He kind of went back and forth, whether he liked him or he hated him, but in the movie he hated him, and it stayed that way, which I thought was more important and more meaningful and more realistic. I don't think that hating people is necessarily a good thing, obviously, but it's really important. It's really important because in real life, if someone tried to out my largest secrets to the whole student body, I would hate the person's guts too. Another part of the movie that I did enjoy was that Martin declares his love for a fellow student in a public, embarrassing way. At the football game, he takes a mic from the girl singing the national anthem and declares his love to Simon's friend Abby, and it's it's a train wreck and it's hilarious and it just makes you cringe and feel for the character at the same time. But at the end of the movie, I hated him. And I still do. I don't think he had any right to do what he did, and he was just not a good person. Another thing I loved about the movies was that, similar to the book, Simon has different people that he assumes Blue may or may not be. But in the novel, it's just written. But in the movie, as he sees different people be Blue, you hear and see them writing the emails in their voice until it is finally revealed who Blue really is. Now, I obviously, of course, knew who Blue is, but when I went to see the movie with my friends who didn't read the book, they had no idea who Blue was, so they did a really good job at keeping that a secret, I feel like, and that's a good thing, because sometimes in movies you can tell, but I feel like with what they did with the different characters and the different voices, it's fantastic. So the movie and book all around are a great watch and read, and I think anyone with reading or watching abilities should really watch the movie. It is fantastic, it is wonderful, and I think it's perfect for all ages. Even my grandma wants to read it. And Jennifer Garner and Josh Duhamel play the parents, which is a great thing, I think, because every time I see Jennifer Garner, I think of 13 going on 30, so it's kind of cool. And Josh Duhamel, I just find really attractive, and also Josh Duhamel's character in the novel, and movie as well. I noticed a lot of my father's quirks with him. My father's a lot like him in some ways, and so it was really good to connect with him, and he looked hot as fuck. Another thing as well is that the fact that the actor who plays Nick isn't actually gay, but is a strong advocate for the gay community is really important to me, because I feel like one of the misconstrued things in the straight community is that, oh, I can't kiss a boy because I'm straight, and I can't kiss a boy in a movie role because I'm straight. That's not the case at all. There's nothing wrong with kissing someone for a movie role, just like you could kiss a woman nonchalantly. Nick Robinson kisses a man, no problem. And another thing as well is the guy that plays Blue, once it's revealed, he's a guy open about his sexuality, and it's fantastic. And he's a really strong advocate, and he's Australian, which is hella hot, and he's really cute as well. And I think it's really important that everyone takes from this movie and novel, but it's also not something that you can just jump into and be out with. You really see Simon's growth and process throughout the novel, and you see how important it is to him, and you notice that not everything is easy. Because coming out isn't easy. But this movie really shows you, so it's really good for straight people trying to figure out what it's like to be gay. Another difference between the book and the movie is that in the novel, Simon has 2 sisters. And in the movie, he only has 1, which I find it wasn't that big of a deal because they just kind of axed a character that didn't really do all that much. But I also think it was kind of important, so I mean, they could have slightly included it, but it makes sense why they didn't, because they would have had to develop another character. So I think they did a great job at adapting the movie, and it is definitely now in my top 3 movies. So purchase the novel at a link down below, and also go see the movie at your local theater. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Remember